All right. We are building an audience for you now. All right. So, welcome to tonight's feed. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. All right. So, tonight what I'm going to discuss with you is simply only going to be the truth and facts, as always. So, tonight's broadcast, I'm going to talk to you about three things. I'm going to tell you right now what they are so you can look forward to them. Number one, what did happen on September 30th? Why was that a day of interest, and what does... Also, I'm going to discuss to you about two significant dates coming up. One is going to be on October the 7th. Why October 7th? What does that mean? And also on October 12th. Same thing. What does it mean? Now, those two dates are days of concern, and I'm going to share with you why. Now, please understand this. Everything that I'm sharing with you is 100% scientific proof, evidence. Do your own research. Don't believe everything you hear because it may not be true. False truths. What you want to do is investigate things on your own. All right. So, what we're going to talk about right now is what happened on September 30th. Why was that a day of interest? Well, what you're going to be learning and what you're going to find out when you open your eyes to listen, that the fact that, first off, I use two things, as always. Let me share that with you again. I use this right here, the Bible. And I also use science because, again, I do believe that everything that this universe is made of with divine intervention, God is science, science is God. I do believe in God, and that's what we're talking about today because this is getting serious, folks. It's time to open your eyes, seek the knowledge, and learn. Now, you too can do the same exact thing that I'm doing if you just put your mind to it, all right? So, what happened on September 30th? Well, what I want to teach you guys is, whether you believe it or not, the Jewish holidays are coinciding with all of the scientific evidence that's happening with the climate control on Earth. When I say that, for instance, the triad, which is 4 blood moons in a row, never in history has it ever happened where each one of those 4 blood moons happened on a Jewish holiday. Then you have the solar eclipse. You have the Revelation 12, verse 1, only verse 1, and we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. Came true on September 23rd. So the point of interest, when I said to you September 30th is a point of interest, major news. So here's what happened. First off, we've had thousands upon thousands of people. I'm going to try to share this image with you. This is pretty amazing. Take a look at this. Thousands upon thousands of people visited Jerusalem. Now, this is the Western Wall. This is on their special holiest of holiest days, the Day of Atonement. Thousands upon thousands. Now, on that same day, and the reason why that this is biblically important is because of the fact it's a Jubilee. Not only is it a Jubilee, what is a Jubilee? A Jubilee is in the Old Testament talking about 7 years. Every 7 years, everything goes back to new. If you have a slave, give him back. If you owe land, you can have it. Everything is brand new, starts over, clean, fresh. We have 7 days in the week, but I'm not going to go mathematical on you, not on this topic. All right. So, the point is, not only was it a Jubilee year, but it was the 50th Jubilee. You hear about something in the book of Daniel talking about the week of 70, the 70. What does that mean? I don't know. Study it yourself. You can do it. Okay. So you had those 3 magnificent events taking place. Now, I told you, weeks ahead of time, that was a day of interest. Now, keep in mind, I am not prophesizing. I'm not predicting the future. I am using scientific facts on what I'm about to share with you. That's almost scary. I think I'd rather just guess. All right. Just kidding. All right, this is starting to get a little bit serious now, guys. I'm going to go and teach you something. And the weird thing about what I'm sharing with you, I have not found this anywhere posted on the internet. I haven't seen anybody else research what I'm about to show you. And but it makes sense to me what I found out. And I think what happens is, let me go this way as I'm digging through my stuff. I think what happens is, as you seek knowledge and you try to gain truth, your mind opens up and you gain more wisdom, and it's amazing what you can find out. So, again, if you too just take the time to research a little bit, you will also get the same exact knowledge and information that I'm trying to share with you. All right, so I can't find my paper, so because of that, I'm going to go to Oh, I got it. Haha, here we go. All right, so let me give you a prelude, whatever you want to call it. All right, here we go. So if you didn't understand what happened on September 23rd with Revelation 12, verse 1, you need to watch the previous live feeds. This is going past that. This is the next level. We know for a fact it happened. I'm not getting back into it. What we talked about was the woman clothed in the sun with Virgo, where she was giving birth. Now watch this. This is fascinating. It gives me goosebumps. I'm going to share it with you. Now tap and put your opinions on below. Put it below. I want to see your comments. Here we go. Check this out. Here we go. All right. So watch. So what we're going to look at. So we learned about this, about the crown of 12, but here's what we're going to look at. It says, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads." We're going to talk about that in a moment. But what we're going to talk about right now is right here what's going to happen. "And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. The dragon stood before the woman." Now keep in mind, the woman's Virgo, "which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born." Now check this out, guys. You're going to freak out. All right. So this is Virgo. This is a map, a picture that I took. This was a little bit after September 23rd. Now I want you to look right here. Now we have this line. See the line right there, Virgo? She's actually still giving birth. Now here's the crazy thing about God. Not crazy, but you know what I'm saying. God's time is not the same as our time. We have 24 hours in a day, right? Well, in God's time, that could be like a year, could be like a twitch of his eye, all right? So when Revelation 12 verse 1 was saying she was giving birth, that was correct. She's giving birth. And on September 23rd, Jupiter, Christ baby, was coming out of Virgo. But look, it's not all the way out yet. Guess what? It takes 2 weeks. Now check this out. Thank you for the like. On this date right here is going to be October the 7th. Now look. Do you see how Jupiter's completely out of Virgo? Completely out. It's gone. The Virgo, the woman, gave birth. Even though it's 2 weeks later, not immediately. Not immediately. But look what it says. Her child as soon as it was born. You guys follow me on that? Okay. That really caught my eye. Let me get back to you. That really caught my eye. I mean, I was reading it and I was like, well, wait a minute. And I started, now listen, there's a couple things you can get. You can get Google Sky Maps. You can get these 2 different apps. You can download it on your phone. You can check it out. And what I did is a fast forward into when is Jupiter actually going to leave Virgo. So I researched that myself. I came up with a date. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It doesn't mean that something bad's going to happen on that day. Because, you know, I don't want to say God's a little bit slow, but it's like, you know, his time is not our time. So I'm not predicting the future. What I'm doing is sharing with you scientific facts, as always. So, you have to admit, that happened, Revelation 12 happened on September 23rd, so all I'm saying is if something were to happen, it probably would be starting on that day, but it doesn't mean that day meaning 24 hours, meaning God's time. It means whatever God wants to do. I'm just sharing with you the facts. Alright, so, that was one thing that I found interesting. Now, the next thing I'm going to share with you is I'm going to share with you this. Let me bring it on over. This is going to be September, on October the, this is October 12th. Now, I know you can't read this right here, but this right here is Earth. And the one line is an asteroid. And we've learned about astronomical units. We learned about distance. We learned about all this stuff. Now, this is, I mean, what I'm trying to show you is this. Hold on. So, basically what's happening is there is an asteroid out there. I'm not saying it's going to hit us. I'm saying it's going to be 4,200 miles away. So, that is extremely close. And you can't believe everything you hear. If you research what I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing articles talking about, oh, well, we just saw, and it's going to be a tenth of the lunar distance, which again is 280,000 miles between the center of the Earth to the moon. You do your math. I want to share something with you that's very, it's hard to understand. I hope I say this correctly, so please bear with me. The thing I'm going to talk about the Vegas shooting is this. When you read the articles and you heard about stories about how the guy was a gambler, 20,000. Well, another one said 40,000. His brother said that he did it because he was scared of the asteroid threat. Then on the Associated Press, you started seeing things about, oh, well, you know, it's almost like an asteroid hit our family. They changed the wording around. So what I'm trying to say to you is you cannot believe mainstream media for nothing, okay? And I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not saying an asteroid's going to hit us. Here's what I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you that Revelation 12 verse 4 is going to be fulfilled, okay? The baby was born. It's happening. Now, here's where it gets a little scary. I'm going to share it with you because why? You deserve the truth, as always. All right. All right, so here's the deal, guys. You heard of something called Planet X, Nibiru. You've heard, now, let me tell you something. Planet X is a word about a planet that's coming in. You hear of Nibiru. You hear of Wormwood. Wormwood is the same name as these planet, as this the definition of the same planet, but that's from the Vatican. The Vatican's calling it Wormwood. Okay? You've got Nibiru. You've got Planet X. Now you got NASA calling it Planet 9, then you heard Planet 10. Guess what? They're all the same. They don't want to scare you. However, if you do your own research, as I'm telling you to do, what you're going to find is 100% it is true. There is a solar system in the outer planet of our solar system, and I'm telling you, if you study like the solar system, the planet interactions, our weather patterns, everything is a direct result of the other planets that are around us. So when you have a large incoming mass, something's happening, and I'll prove it to you. Here we go. All right, so you've heard of taking a compass, and you hear of going to the north. Well, the thing that makes that compass turn north is called the magnetic pole. Now, the magnetic pole is not the same as true north. True north is the axle. You know it better as the North Pole. However, the magnetic North Pole is affected by the magnetic field that's around our Earth, which totally protects us from horrible, horrible things such as protons and solar rays. And here's what I wanted to share with you. I got a little side notes. I'm going to read it to you. Here we go. Now, it talks about the magnetic pole. This is important, guys, because I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to prove something to you guys, all right? Here we go. It says, ever since the magnetic pole was first discovered in 1831, they've been tracking its progress. Now, unlike true north, the magnetic north constantly moves due to changes in the planet's molten core, which contains iron. All right. Now, the molten core is the center of our Earth. When it builds up pressure with methane gas and sulfur dioxide, and the Earth shifts and the axle and this and that, that's what we call earthquakes. And guess what? Earthquakes are happening everywhere. And guess what? It slowed down for a little bit. I'm telling you right now, without a doubt, starting Saturday, it's going to pick back on up. And what you want to look for is the frequency, because they do happen often. You want to look to how large they are. All right. So, we've learned about that, but what else can make what else can move the magnetic pole? All right. Now, the sun has a cycle every 11.5 years. What that means to you is that it builds up so much power. It's kind of like a power gun, a squirt gun. When you squirt it like back and forth a couple times, the more you hold it back, the further it goes. Same thing with the sun. So it builds up what we call sunspots. Sunspots are the little black spots on the sun. It's because it cools the sun. Why? Because a bunch of energy is released from the sun. It shoots out into outer space, many times hitting the Earth. Now, that gets us back to the magnetic I know, like, where did I learn this stuff from? The magnetic field that surrounds our Earth, which truly protects us. You might know it also as the atmosphere. Alright, so when these protons and gamma rays come upon the Earth, what happens is they pull each other up to the North Pole and the South Pole. That's what you know it as Aurora Borealis, or otherwise known as the Northern Lights. Beautiful sun show up in the sky. Alright, so The problem with that is it can cause a lot of electrical damages to our satellites as well as here on Earth. Now, here's the facts. Within the last 10 years, we have had the largest solar flares that's ever hit the Earth, ever! Do your own research. Don't take my word. All right. So, that could be one other thing that could affect the magnetic poles. However, because of the fact that we have, you have to look for the signs. Now, look at this. Here we go. It says, NASA postpones the Webb scope launch. And why is that? I wonder. Well, could it be because a big planet is looming in the distance? Well, I tell you what, guys. Hold on a second. Hold on. Here's what I'm going to do. Hold on. I'm going to wrap this up. Alright, so all I'm trying to tell you is don't be scared. There's really nothing you can do about it, but something is happening. It is happening. There's no more, the end of the world stuff. It's not going to be the end of the world. The Bible specifically says two-thirds of the earth will survive, only one-third. And it doesn't really matter where you are. If you get a direct hit from something coming from the sky, you're done anyway. I called up the U.S. Forest Service and I said, what is it called when wildfires burn? A big lightning bolt comes down, it burns the wildfires. That's natural, that's good. It cleans out the forest and it makes new. So then what happens is, with Mother Nature, when you have volcanic eruptions or earthquakes and nothing can live in that environment, you have pioneer species. Pioneer species are actually almost microscopic that go into the harshest conditions. They actually rebuild it for the ecosystem, and what happens is it replenishes. My point to you is this. So what's going to happen, more than likely, is this, and this now is speculation. What's going to happen is this. If the Earth is made up of molten lava, that means our continent is not sturdy. So if there was a magnetic pole switch, because of gravitational force from another big mass, what might happen is when the continents go back, this is scientifically fact, by the way, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it did happen, this is true, the ocean would roar, and basically Florida would be overlaps, everything would be, what's going to happen is life's going to be no longer as you know it. You're still going to live, it's going to be different, totally different, and then, because of all the nation upon nation that's going on, guess what? You got this ruler coming out of the Middle East saying everything's going to be okay, and you're going to see supernatural miracles, and you're going to think it's wonderful, and everyone's going to flock to him, and that is the beginning of the tribulation. And the tribulation, let me tell you something, guys, lasts for 7 years. First 3.5 years, do you think it's good? After that, forget about it. We'll talk about it later. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Much love always. Put your comments below, and thank you.